Hey everybody, it's Holytaboo, and here's my second video of quests that can give you some more skill points. Now before I get into it, I just want to say thank you for the response from the first video. I have to admit, I really didn't think I was going to get as much response as I did, so thank you. Also, thank you for the people that gave me some tips and pointers for what to do. So for instance, the annotations, I'll make sure I put them in this video before I release it. Also this time I've tried to put the quest in more of a logical order so you won't have to spend so much time running around. Anyway, so let's get into the next 7 or 8 quests which will help you get a few more combat skill points. Okay, for quest number 8, 1, 2 and 3, we're looking for an NPC called Hildegard, and Hildegard is just east of the northern wheat plantation, and as you can see on the map, the northern wheat plantation is northeast of the capital of Calpheon. Now, when we go to Hildegard, he actually gives us 3 quests, one after the other, and they're all pretty simple. So the first quest is Precious Crop number 1. Now in this you have to go into the field just north of the NPC and you'll look for small moles, plantation small moles as they're called. And as soon as you find them, you just need to kill 5. Now, luckily for us, they are really squishy mobs. So you can just run up and just throw down a bit of AoE, as you can see I'm doing here. So once we return to Hildegard and hand in the quest, she'll give us 1 whole contribution skill point just for doing that. Simple! Anyway, the best part is, after you speak to her again, here we go. She's got the second quest for you. Now, the second quest is also called Precious Crops, but surprisingly enough, Precious Crops number 2. Now, in this, similar to the first, it's in the local area. You only have to run north, and when you do, you have to go get her some raccoon hides. Now, from the raccoon hides, again, they're very simple. You go to the field above, and actually, as you see, they're not always in the field above. They're scattered all over the place. And again, look for a brown raccoon. Now, these things have got about a 20% drop chance, so realistically, if you have to get 2, you're probably going to be grinding there for about 10 mobs, but it's pretty quick. Depends how much RNGs is on your side for once. Now, I know recently I've had some good luck, but we won't go there because, you know, RNGs gives far too much salt. Now, once you've finished that, obviously, again, go back to Hildegard, speak to her, and hey, look, another 1 contribution skill point. Fantastic. Finally, part 3. She'll turn around and say she's got 1 more task for you, which is part 3 of the Precious Crops. So, for the creatively named Precious Crop number 3 quest, it's also quite simple. You have to go and get some boar meat and some locusts. Yes, apparently in their meal tonight they're having roast boar and locusts. Now, for obviously your information from the lore wise, I think she's quite annoyed that the boars and locusts have been eating their fine crops and therefore believe that it would be suiting or fitting that they get eaten at their dinner tonight. So, quite interesting, hey? Now, this is again really simple. You only have to run up to the field above and you'll find some farm boars. Now, these farm boars have got a 30% chance to drop their meat, and you only need to get 3. So hopefully you'll get it in 9. And locusts, they're everywhere. Now you just have to, I think, get 5 drops from them. The idea of having a locust drop meat is, yeah, not so good for me, but hey, who knows. But you only need to get 5 and it's got a 40% drop chance, so realistically you'll probably get it quite quick. Now, once you've done that, this is the best part of finishing this quest. You go back to her and she'll give you 2 whole contribution skill points. So for these 3 quests in a row, you've got 4 combat skill points from it. This is really simple and might help you progress up your skill tree just that little bit further, so maybe you can get that ultimate you've been really waiting for. Okay, for part 9, we're going to do a quest called Terrified Bayreuth. Now, we're actually looking for the NPC called Bayreuth, and as you can see, he's just west of the northern wheat plantation. Now, I've put a little bit of emphasis on the area where I am because there's a couple of NPCs around there with quests, but this one again, it's quite simple. Now, we will be getting 2 contribution points for this, so obviously it's going to be a pretty hard quest. No, it's really not. So, luckily for this, it's another person who doesn't like the locust swarms. So, all what you have to do is run around the area above and kill 20 lotus swarms. Now, this is really simple, and as you can see, you should be able to jump around and do this as quick as possible. Now, this will also give you some energy recovery like most of the time. Now, hopefully you haven't done, and luckily I've not done it in this either, you should never be running around on full energy, and that should be self-explanatory. But just in case, make sure that you've used your energy up, because some of these quests will give you some energy recovery, which, hey, might be processing 3 more bits or getting that node level higher, but hey, that's up to you. So there we go, handed in and 3 extra combat skill points. Really simple. Okay, for quest number 10, another pretty straightforward one. You have to go into the northern wheat plantation and you're looking for an NPC called Town Soldier. Now, ideally you want to get a quest called Mercenary Guarding the Town number 2. But of course this is a chain, so we're going to quickly just run through Mercenary Guarding the Town number 1, and then we'll go through the quest that we really want to do to get those combat skill points. And yes, I did just fail my horse there, but ignore that. Now, for part 1, it's really simple. You're going out and you're looking for the big moles. You just have to kill 2 and they drop an item. Again, 60% chance, so maybe if you're lucky you'll get it in 2, if not 3, 4. So it's not too bad. Also, you've got to look for the small moles again. You just need to, again, 60% chance, really straightforward. Now, once we go back to the NPC, we should be able to hand this in and actually get the quest Mercenary Guarding the Town number 2. Now, this quest I'd actually say was not hard, but harder than I expected for such a low level quest. But I think I remember killing these mobs. You've got to look for one of the farm stoneback crabs. Now, again, I think I found this one almost by accident when I saw the mob on the floor. Now, I remember these are quite big juicy mobs. Now, keep in mind this video I'm 55 and that took a little bit of a pounding. But still, you only have to kill 1, so it's not too bad, luckily. Now, once you finish, you just have to run back to the Town Soldier, speak to him, and hey, he's going to give you another 1 combat skill point for doing what, to be fair, is a relatively easy quest. Though maybe at 35, that mob takes a bit too much of a pounding, but who knows. Okay, for quest number 11, things that happen at night. Now, luckily, to get this quest, you have to speak to the guy who you've just done the quest for, the ones who you've just finished Mercenary Guarding the Town. Now, when you speak to this guy, he's going to say, a recommendation for colleagues is the quest name. Now, you take that, and it's still in the northern wheat plantation. You just have to run down and speak to Soldier. Now, the NPC Soldier then will obviously say, hello, I've got another quest for you after handing that in. And this is the one you want. Now, this quest is called Things That Happen at Night, and there's actually a bit of a hint here in the name. If you want to do this quest, you literally do have to wait for night to happen for these mobs to come out. So anyway, I'll show you where to go. So we go south from the northern wheat plantation, and again, we're really just above Calfian at this point. Now, when we get there, we're looking for mobs called Thief Imps. Now, these don't spawn in the day. Now, what I'm going to do is just cut here tonight. And sadly, when I came in, I actually dropped an AoE by accident and killed the Thief Imp mob. Now, the Thief Imp mob has a 50% chance of dropping this single item that you need to get, so it's pretty simple. And actually, as you see, I'm just going to run around the area and show you what they look like. They do spawn here, and again, they'll come out as orange mobs on yours. It's only red for mine now because I've just killed it, which is typical. Anyway, once you've done this, you can easily then run back to the NPC Soldier at the northern wheat plantation, and he's going to reward you very handsomely. In fact, to be fair, the only annoying thing about this quest is having to wait for the night cycle, especially if you did it like I did when you had a couple of hours to wait, but it's fine. So we'll go back, speak to him, hand it in, 1 more combat skill point for us, and a fishing rod or a lantern. Hey, up to you. Okay, on to quest number 12. Now, after we've just finished the quest, Things That Happen at Night, the same NPC, Soldier, is going to give you another quest. Now, this quest is called Cleaning Up the Thief Imps. Now, as you can imagine, it's going to be pretty simple. You just have to run back exactly where you were and just go kill 3 imps. Now, I have to admit, I thought 3 imps for this seemed a little bit too easy, but hey, you know, I'm not going to complain. Now, for doing this quest, obviously, normally you would just be able to run in, whack down an AoE, and hey presto, job done. But okay, it took me 2, I'm just bad. The reward for this quest being 2 combat skill points for doing such a quick and easy task, I thought was absolutely outrageous. But hey, I'm not going to complain. So again, we're just going to ride back to the NPC in the northern wheat plantation called Soldier, speak to him, and he's going to give you your fantastic reward for this. Also, again, you can pick between a lantern and a fishing pole. I'm not going to lie, they tend to be vended when I get them. But hey, again, that's completely up to you. Okay, for quest number 13, we're going to be looking for a goblin worker. Now, this goblin worker is, we'll say, southeast from the northern wheat plantation. Now, he's going to give you a quest called My Coin. Now, this My Coin quest is a nice, easy one, really, and it's a bit strange. But basically, I'll read what it says. The goblin worker who was hiding in the storage the Crutos broke into couldn't sleep after losing his coins. Help the goblin worker who wants revenge on the Kudos. Now, this is pretty easy. You just have to run up to the Kuto cave and you're going to have to kill some things. Now, you have to kill 3 Kuto resting areas and 3 Karuto tents. So, pretty simple. And yes, I've been pronouncing the word in several different ways. I'm pretty sure it's Karuto, but, you know, we'll leave that to you guys. Now, when you've done this, again, you only just have to run back to the goblin worker, and he's going to give you 1 combat skill point for this. This was quite easy. Now, the things sometimes are a little bit further apart, but again, if you're doing this at a higher level, you're probably going to be able to just run around and just throw down some AoEs, which is going to help you out significantly in this. So, there you go. Seen it again. Another really easy quest where, to be fair, these mobs go down pretty easy. Now, just in case you're not at the full level and you wanted to do this, you have to be at least level 35 to do this quest, which, okay, isn't surprising because I'm pretty sure that's the normal for the area. And I do believe we come back here later on in the guide, but I have to remember, it's been a while since I've done all these quests back to back again. But hey, so we're going to go back to the goblin worker, and as I keep repeating, he's going to give us another combat skill point. Now, it's only 1 for this one, but still, again, maybe it's just that 1 point you need just to get the ultimate version of your finishing move, so this could be golden. Okay, for quest number 14, make a safe workplace. Now, I'm going to pre-warn you, this is quite a long quest chain of 8 quests in order to get 1 combat skill point. Now, for me, I still think it's worth it. I'm going to leave that to you. Now, when you first get into the village, you're going to speak to an NPC called Valentine. Now, he's going to give you a quest called A Weird Town Florin. Now, this is pretty simple. You just go to these strange machines and you don't do what I do, fail one of them. But you just go jump on the jump pad and hit spacebar at the right time. Once you do this, you're going to be able to pick up another quest called, I believe, Do As Ordered. Now, this can be a bit of a pain. Now, I don't know if it's because I didn't have equipped a hoe at the time, which I checked and I felt a bit silly for, but never mind. And he doesn't give you one in the quest chain, which is quite strange. Now, you're going to go up to the top of this mountain, and as you saw, it's west of Florin. Now, when you're here, you have to look for some fire herbs, or as in fire flake flower, something like that. Now, when you look on the floor, they're quite obvious. It took me a little bit of time to find them, I have to admit. When I do my gathering professions, as you see, I normally go for blood, not herbs. There's probably a reason for that. But if you look now on the video, I'm actually at a spot. Now, to me, they almost look like aloe vera plants, but hey, maybe that's just me not knowing so much about flowers. But you're going to have to go around a few times, unless you've got a hoe, and then you're going to have to gather these. Now, once you have 2 of these fire flake herbs, you can go back and hand in the quest. And finally, you'll be able to proceed forward, which, let's be fair, for this quest, this I think was the worst bit. So, you'll pick up the quest, You Want Me to Lumber tool. Now, this is basically the pre-quest for when you're about to go cut some wood. Now, this quest will award you an axe, which you'll have to equip. Now, it's quite easy. You just have to look for the NPC called, I believe, Pellini. It's a pretty interesting name, but it's the little guy at the front. Now, when you speak to this guy, he's going to give you, a girl, it does have a mustache. I won't judge. When you speak to this NPC, they're going to give you a lumberjack. Now, make sure that you equip this lumberjack. Now, you're going to start the quest called Bring Logs. Now, luckily, you only have to cut down, well, if you're lucky, 1 tree, but you just have to gather 2 logs. So this might depend on how high your gathering profession is. If you've got it high, you'll probably get the logs straight away. If you've got it too high, you might get planks, which would be kind of lucky, but also unlucky for this quest. But if you're lower level, it might just take you a couple more goes. But just go around, attack the trees with your axe, and you're going to eventually get 2 logs. Once you're going to go back to this guy, you can hand in the quest, and he's going to give you another quest. And it says, Don't You Owe Me? Now, with Don't You Owe Me, he's going to basically tell you to go collect some tree sap. Now again, he's also going to give you the tool to do this, so please equip it. Also, what you have to do is go up to a pine tree and make sure it is a pine tree, because you do have to get pine sap. Right click it and you're going to start extracting the sap. Now this isn't too bad, but making sure that you understand you have to get pine tree. I believe the first time I did this, I just didn't read the quest. I'm terrible for that. I just see, right, I've got to go to an NPC, he's telling me to go to a tree, and I was then extracting all the sap from different trees, and it was only when I read it I felt very, very stupid. Anyway, we go back to Polini, we hand that in, and we're getting close now. She's going to give us another quest. I know I've gone from she to he, but I really don't know. It's the mustache, I swear. Now, this next quest is called the Town of Herbs and Curiosity. Now, as you see, I actually instantly hand this quest in and it's completed. That's because to complete this quest, you just have to gain some knowledge, and I believe it's of herb cookies. Now, the only thing you have to do is speak to an NPC and they'll give you that knowledge. Now, this is the next part which gets a bit strange. You'll get another quest which says return to the chief. Now, you return to the chief. Don't pick up his next quest, and this is what you're seeing in the video because I almost forgot where to go. Once you've handed in the return to chief, you have to look for an NPC called Herb Collector, and it sees goblins on the outside, and these will actually give you the quest make a safe workplace. Now, it gets quite easy from here. Once you get the quest, you just have to really ride south, and when you ride south, also what you have to do is kill some hummingbirds, which I thought seemed a little bit cruel really, just to make the workplace safe. But hey, now as you'll see popping up on the map, you'll get the orange dots, and that's when you know you're in the sort of the final run here. So you don't have to go so south, but you'll see the hummingbirds, and again, they're really easy and such low health mobs. So once you do this, finally we're getting there for quest 14. You can just go back to the herb collector, and the herb collector is going to reward you. You're going to get another combat skill point. Now admittedly, that one you did have to work a bit for, unlike some of the others, but hey, that one combat skill point, I know I've said it before, but this could be the combat skill point that really pushes you over the edge and gets you the next ultimate. So there we go again. There was 9 combat skill point giving quests there that we did. Admittedly, we did have to do a couple of quest chains, but still, out of doing all that work, that's another 12 combat skill points. I mean, normally when you grind, you get 3 when you level up, so you know, that's still quite a bit of time saved. Anyway, if you haven't already, check out my first video if you haven't already done those quests, and you'll see the first 7 to also give you another 12. Now I'll be working on the next 7 or however many quests to get you another 12 or whatever combat skill points, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.